the Art and Industry of Business and Living podcast, discussing conscious choices around business, money, life and living, and creating a greater future for you and the planet. Hi everybody, welcome to the Art and Industry of Business and Living, and Merry Christmas! It's like this is the first time for you hearing this, but this is the second time for myself and Miss Francesca Fiantini. Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Simone, for having me here, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
So we actually did this podcast this morning, and it was pretty epic, and then it didn't record. Damn. So we're doing it again for you because I really wanted you guys to all have something over Christmas. This is airing on the 24th, so it's Christmas Eve. And I wanted you to have something that you could listen to with a few, basic but very major tools of access consciousness that can change any area of your life that you think is not working for you. Because this is it becomes an interesting time of year. There seems to be so many expectations and projections and, which go with the judgments and the separations and the rejections of, being with family, what you're meant to do, how you're meant to get it right, whilst always thinking that you're wrong. And it's like, what is the right Christmas for you? And what I would like to have a look at is, what if Christmas could be this energy of ease, joy, and glory? And that's the mantra of Access Consciousness. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. So maybe instead of singing Christmas carols, you could sing, all of life comes to you with ease and joy and glory. And that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, you might be one of those rare people who has an amazing family and you have a really fun day. But most of the people I've spoken to, it's like that's not usually the case. It's there's usually quite a bit of pressure that goes on from the family, and that, like I said, you have to get it right. So we wanted to bring you some of the tools from Access. So the first one is, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. Now, some people may have been listening to my podcast all year round, and thank you so much. I'm very grateful. And if you can, and you get a moment, if you can, put 5 stars on it, tell your friends about it, review it on the podcast iTunes thing, whatever that is, but because that's where you're going. And you may already know about a lot of the Access Consciousness tools. And what I get is it always helps to reiterate them, because those basic tools and questions become so much more when you sort of break it down and you have that place of being the Access Consciousness tools and not just doing them. And what do I mean by that? It's like, it's not asking a question and expecting an answer. Like, what else is possible is not it's not about an answer. It's a question. What else is possible? And if you be that question, then so much more can show up. So the first one is, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. And it's a mantra of Access. Say it 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night. Say it when you're in the shower. If you're incredibly OCD like me, it's like I just say it when I think about it, or if I'm trying to find a parking spot, etc. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. So Francesca, who is now the new worldwide coordinator of Access Consciousness, which makes me so happy. That was my job for 18 years. And then last year, I handed it over a few months ago. And how many things are you not willing to let go of that would allow something greater to show up? What if 2020, like Christmas, New Year, coming into 2020, was the year that you let go of everything? You're willing to lose everything, you can actually have everything. So everything you've been unwilling to lose because you've earned it, or you've worked so hard for it, so you hold on to it with such, tight grasp and not allow anything else to show up, where you destroy and uncreate it, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So Francesca, what's your favorite tool for today, for Christmas Eve?
For Christmas Eve, also based on, what we have been recording before and then things didn't really work, or how many times, like also during Christmas, things you have been planning, they don't show up, and you are a bit cranky about it, or things showing up in a different way that you thought. So one of my preferred tools to add for what Simone just mentioned, it's really like, what is right about this and what is right about me I'm not getting. Because it's just a question. You don't really have, sometimes you can say there is nothing right. But if you're willing to be the space and asking, okay, what is right here I'm not getting? Like, might be someone, didn't turn up to your Christmas party, or one of your family are like on your family are crank with you, or anything that showed up in a way that
Your plane gets delayed. Like while you're traveling around during Christmas, it's like, is your plane delayed? Instead of getting cranky and angry, or, the time span that your day is meant to work out in, instead ask, what's right about this I'm not getting?
or sometimes, like you spend more money than what you were planning.
Always, not sometimes. That's always, especially around Christmas. Always spend more money than what you were planning.
Correct. That's correct. That actually gave me so much freedom, that question. And as you say, Simone, being the tools, it's really like incorporating in your being and being them every second of our life. And more you be that, more ease you get. And it's not about doing it, praying for something that needs to show up right away, but asking what is right about this, give you different space. And now that, as you were talking about, I'm sure all this year long of your podcast, about new possibilities. Most of the time, like, I've been so many times surprised. And every time I'm using the tools and I'm being the tools, I have this happiness of seeing what will show up next, right? There is like a sort of unknown that always surprised me. So that's my tool for today.
Okay, and then what I want to ask everyone too, it's Christmas Eve. So what have you decided is so vital, valuable, and real about Christmas and family that keeps you from creating your reality of ease, joy, and glory? And everything at that is times a Godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it.
Right, wrong, good and bad, POC, POT, online, shorts, boys, and beyond. That's a good one, Simone.
So what have you made so vital, valuable, and real about Christmas and family that keeps you from creating a life, living reality of ease, joy, and glory? And everything at that is times a Godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it.
Right, wrong, good and bad, POC, POT, online, shorts, boys, and beyond. Whoa, thank you.
I remember this again. So what have you made so vital, valuable, and real about Christmas and family that keeps you from creating a life, living, and reality of ease, joy, and glory? And everything at that is times a Godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it.
Right, wrong, good and bad, POC, POT, online, shorts, boys, and beyonds.
What if one of the tools that we've spoken about throughout this podcast, throughout the year, is to relax and receive? It's like, what if you relaxed? Like, if you were relaxed, then what else could you receive? And one of the things that I actually want to mention too is because it is around Christmas time and, family, and in our previous podcast that we did this morning that wasn't recorded, one of the things that you mentioned, Francesca, is how, the family sits around, they don't see each other all year round pretty much, but then they start talking about the different things that are occurring. And a lot of the times it's the projections and expectations. It's like got this competitive energy. And funnily enough, a lot of the times it's not competitive for who's the happiest. It's the competitive for who's got the least amount of money, who's got the most trauma and drama, who's invented the most problems, like who's got the worst health. And it's like, really? That's where you want to go down? That's the road you want to travel? It's like, what if you were the one in your family this year that when everyone was bitching and moaning about something, you went, you know what? I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome. It's like, I've got so much going on. I'm happier than I've ever been. You know what? I've got more money than I thought I would have, and I'm asking for more, always asking for more. And what if there was a different energy that you were with the family and you didn't function from those expectations and projections that you're supposed to go into competition of who's got the worst friggin' life?
Yeah. And also, these things will show up anyway. People that will want to compete to you or judge you for what you have done or you haven't done. What if you don't care? What if it's really not important? And one of the other tools I always constantly use is being the interesting point of view. What if you could be interesting point of view for anyone that showed up, during Christmas time as whatever Simone had been just mentioning? Because then you don't have to fight them. One of the things it's probably written in your Joy Business book, or you say somewhere about inviting more money in your life, right? And also being willing to be in a party, and when people are all complaining about money, say, you know what? Even if you are not doing great, say, I'm great. I have more money than I think I did have, and blah blah blah. So also being the energy that the life you desire to create beyond Christmas, beyond family, beyond any other people's point of view. That will be very fun. I mean, they might be fun in your family and see what show up.
Yeah. And also have a look at how many people in your family are trying to justify something that they've decided they have to defend. And
Ooh.
usually it's, it's the choices, it's their whole reality that they've decided they have to defend. What if you walked into Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, we call it in Australia, etc., over this period of time, and you didn't have to defend your reality about anything? You've got to be
Please.
willing to be vulnerable. You've got to be willing to be honoring of you and others, and never defend you. You're an interesting point of view. Interesting point of view, you have that point of view. Interesting point of view, you have that point of view. It makes it a hell of a lot easier. So
Yeah.
let's do this. What jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared to justify what you must defend that you don't believe in are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it.
Right, wrong, good and bad, talk about shorts, boys, and beyonds.
I got a pod poker.
Yeah, I like it.
So what jails are you using to create the dominance of E equals MC squared to justify what you must defend that you don't believe in are you choosing? And everything that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it.
Right, wrong, good and bad, talk about all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. That's a brilliant clearance, Simone, because trying to defend what you don't believe,
Yeah.
right? It's like being someone else.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, okay, we got it that there are lots of different characters, we play with family, and how many times I've been defending myself for something that I didn't even want to be, against others. So thank you for that. That's really brilliant.
Well, how often do you try and defend a member of your family, but it's like you don't even believe what they're doing is right, but you're trying to defend, you're trying to look after the underdog.
Oh, yeah.
You defended anyone or anything ever again. Any of your choices. You never have to defend. Everything that is right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. So, and some of the other questions that definitely, we spoke about it this morning was who does this belong to? It's a huge talk, especially around this time of year as well. So with Access, what we talk about is 99% of your thoughts, feelings and emotions are not yours. And in truth, I'm going to let you in a little secret. Don't tell anyone else. It's actually 100%.
Yeah.
Just for you, ladies and gentlemen. So 100% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions are not yours. They do not belong to you. So when you start getting caught up in the trauma and drama and all the invented problems that go along with Christmas, it's like, ask, who does this belong to? Is this mine? And all these tools working together, it's not like you use them separately. So who does this belong to? Is this mine? If it lightens up, it's not yours. And then it's like, okay, interesting point of view that I have this point of view. Interesting point of view that these people have this point of view. Because how many points of view go on around Christmas with the give and take rather than gifting and receiving? So if you've got that energy, because I notice also, I approve a lot of the bills and stuff like that with Access. And I notice it doesn't matter if it's $1, $100 or $1,000 or $10,000. When I'm approving a bill, if that person's willing to receive and their contribution, it's so easy to approve the bill. And when they're not, it's like it has this energy to it, which usually indicates to me that they're either really not doing that great a job, or it's like they have no idea how to receive. And there's some people in the world that have no idea how to receive, that they just take. That's what they grew up with, and that's what they know. Yes, I'm not defending them or justifying anything like that, but it's for you to have the awareness of that when that is occurring, because around Christmas, the give and take program sets in big time. But what if instead it was about gifting and receiving? What gift could you be and what could you receive?
Exactly. And what if you keep being you? Because that's the point, right? Has just to get back. Because a lot of times I've been occurring for me to get cranky because I was aware about this taking energy that you were mentioning. And under Christmas, and it's mainly because the level of gifting, that also material gifting that we do instead of being it. So, but what if it doesn't really matter? Even if they are takers, fine. But we have that awareness, as you say. So it made me be much more present with me.
Yeah.
And what if we could have fun during Christmas.
Yep, exactly.
What if I don't know if I can say that, but what if we can fuck up with everyone around us?
You can say that. That's okay.
Yeah. And drinking. That's what we mentioned also in the previous.
Alcohol is good. So when in doubt, drink it out. Okay?
Exactly.
Give yourself permission. And what if you could have fun? And what if you're, it's like not about shutting your awareness down too. It's like being aware of everything that's going on around you. And it doesn't mean that you have to buy into it. All these tools that we've just mentioned, it's like even listen to this again, put your little AirPods in and listen to it. All of life comes to me, these joy and glory. Who does this belong to? You know, what else is possible? How does it get any better than this? What's right about this I'm not getting? What's right about me I'm not getting? All of these really, really simple access consciousness tools, except they're incredibly potent. And the last thing that I would like to offer too is find a buddy and get your bars run over Christmas. It's like bars are epic, and there's plenty of practitioners around. And also, if you know how to run bars and you're listening to this and you can't find someone, then run someone's bars, because that's the next best thing. It's like it'll help you as well. Yeah. There was one Christmas, what I did was I was so excited about Access, and I just sort of, been doing classes and just started working with Access like a year or two or something like that. So that Christmas, I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to give everyone the best present. I made these little cards where they could get like their bars run. Plus, I gave them all some Access gifts, whether it was books or a class or something like that, and I wrapped it up, and I was so excited, picking topics that I thought they'd be interested in to get more freedom in. My whole family were just like, okay. And I ran their bars all day. No one said anything at all. No one ever asked me another question about Access, but at least I got to run everyone's bars all day, so that gave me a little bit more, ease and peace in my world. And the only time that they ever asked me about Access was when I drove up. I used to drive an old Toyota Tarago van, and then I bought a BMW, and I bought a convertible BMW, and I drove up to the house in this convertible BMW, and my family literally went, "So what is it that you do again?" And I was like, now you want to know? Now you want to know that I've got this car? And that was it. That's it. They don't ask me about it at all. They just assume that one thing that they'll say all the time is, oh, you must be tired because you travel all the time. That's a good question. It's just a conclusion. It's like they don't get it. They're not interested. And that's okay. That's not wrong. And it doesn't mean that I'm right. It's just an interesting point of view. That's it.
And how cool is that we can have fun and laugh about it?
Yeah.
Well, seems a little bit of a comedy, Yeah. But that's true. What if there is that, what interesting point of view can we be?
Yeah.
That. And I was a little bit the same. Was around Christmas as well when I started doing my first bars class. And I remember it was Christmas Day in my brother's house, trying, that was really like to engage with everyone. I said, I will run your bars. I can do this on you. I can do that. And I felt so uncomfortable because I really desired to give them something great for them that they could change your life. And how you say, we don't have to.
No, they weren't asking for it.
No, they were not.
Like, we function from that too, like from that expectation that everybody's going to go, yes, I want my life to be easier. Actually, not everyone does. No. So if somebody doesn't, that's okay. But my strong suggestion is never, ever make you less than based on that.
Boom.
Boom.
Really
there you go.
Drop mic drop. Mic drop.
A friend of ours who's from the French Polynesian Islands, Roman, who's in the Return of the Gentleman's Club, which I'll get them on early next year at some point as well, some of those gents. He says, instead of mic drop, he says, drop mic. And no one corrected him for ages. We thought it was really cute.
It was actually. It was his own way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So get your bars run, accessconsciousness.com, find a bars practitioner or a bars facilitator somewhere near you, and have way too much fun over Christmas, everyone. It's like, make it awesome.
Not amazing. Yeah.
Not the necessity, the choice. Choose for you.
How much fun can you have on finalize your gift, on preparing the dinner, going or the lunch, whatever you're celebrating, going out to your family? How much fun can you have that you ever made possible? And everything that doesn't allow that?
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and parona, in shorts, boys and beyonds.
Cool.
So thank you so much for joining us here on Christmas Eve, and Francesca, and I wish you a very merry, happy, joyous, ease-filled
Glorious.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Mwah. All right. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.